under the rubble of two houses in Borodyanka. The town northwest of Kyiv has been left in ruins by Russian.
안녕하세요. 매일매일 운동하기를 실천하고 있는 동탄 왕호입니다. 오늘은 4월 8일이죠. 날씨가 아주 예술입니다, 여러분. 봄이에요, 봄. 운동하겠습니다. 운동해야지. 운동하겠습니다. 역시 운동할 땐 CNN이죠.
This is already obvious.
There are also disturbing reports of Ukrainian troops executing a wounded Russian soldier. This is a still photograph of the scene. The video itself is too gruesome to show, and it shows uniformed Ukrainians coming across 4 Russian casualties after a firefight. 3 appear to be dead, but 1 is badly wounded and gasping for air. 3 shots are then fired into the body, which then stops moving. When asked about this, Ukraine's foreign minister said the Ukrainian military adheres to accepted rules of warfare, but added there may be isolated violations which would be investigated. And then there are other stories emerging of Ukrainians being deported to Russia, forced to pass through what's called filtration or registration camps. Mariupol City Council said that Russia's failure to agree to evacuation corridors and its creation of the filtration centers are part of a broader effort to cover up potential war crimes carried out in his city. The council says Russian forces want to identify potential witnesses to the atrocities and destroy them. CNN cannot verify the claims, but we are hearing residents who say they were sent to Russia against their will, as well as reports of missing children. Katie Poglaze has our report from London.
Post after post of missing children in Ukraine. Families desperate to find their loved ones. Most come from the cities most severely impacted by the fighting, and at the top of that list is Mariupol. These pictures of missing children were provided by parents and police from Magnolia, a Ukrainian NGO tracking missing children. Their Ukrainian director told CNN they are inundated with cases.
The number of missing children is closely to 2,000 per only 1 month.
A scene of utter devastation. Amid the chaos and uncertainty, families told CNN relatives, including children, went missing. And now, from this void, a story has emerged of people not missing but deported.
Unfortunately, some of people are forced stolen by Russians. Some were displaced in Russia, but no one knows information of where exactly and for what.
CNN has spoken to multiple Mariupol residents who say soldiers from the Russian army forcibly evacuated them to Russia.
Some of those who asked to stay were told no.
This testimony is from Anna. We are using a pseudonym to protect her identity, and a CNN producer is reading her words. Like many others, Anna, a young woman, was living under bombardment in Mariupol.
They came in and said, "It's an order." He told us, "If you make a fuss, things will get worse."
Many told us that it started with a promise of evacuation. Soldiers came to where they were staying and told them it was dangerous and that they needed to get out. And so they went to shelters and then camps further and further into Russian territory. It was then that they realized that there was very little option to get out. CNN spoke to multiple people on the condition of anonymity, and using Anna's testimony, we started tracking the key locations along the deportation route. We are not identifying individual routes for the safety of our interviewees. This is the town of Bezimene. These tents indicate one of many sites across the town where interviewees told us they were taken on the first step of their journey. Anna described her stop as a, quote, registration camp, where they said they were interrogated for hours by Russian and Russian-backed forces. Russia claims these camps are to harbour refugees, another shelter seen here in Tagnarog. And while some interviewees saw the journey to Russia as a necessary passage to safety, others, including Anna, found the experience distressing and forced. This is Anna's migration card, a standard document provided to her by Russia upon entry, but it masks a troubling journey. Anna told CNN they were forced to surrender their phones and passports during intense security checks.
They photograph you from all angles. I felt we were treated like criminals or being held as the property of the Russian Federation. I didn't feel we were free to leave.
After questioning, interviewees told CNN they were transferred to other locations dotted across Russia and Russian-occupied territory. Some made onward journeys as far as Moscow and St. Petersburg. The limitations on freedom of movement for those interviewed by CNN seem to vary based on their access to money and family ties in Russia. Ukraine's government claims 45,000 people have been forcibly taken to Russia so far, which CNN cannot independently verify. International human rights conventions prohibit the forced deportation or transfer of civilians. After a week of transfers across Russian territory, Anna was finally given permission to leave and decided to drive to the border with Estonia, a route others have also managed to take according to the Estonian authorities. However, others still remain in Russia or unaccounted for entirely. And while the conflict in Ukraine continues, the panicked search for the missing, feared dead or deported goes on. Katie Pogley, CNN, London.
It's just gone 37 minutes past the hour, and I will be back at the top of the hour. In the meantime, history in the US on Thursday. The Senate confirmed the first black female Supreme Court justice ever. And my colleague and friend Paula Newton has all the details in a moment.
If I have the opportunity to leave the world in a little bit better place than when I got here, then I'm kind of participating in that. So I think it's important. We're being the largest jewelry company out there in volume terms. We have a big role to play and show the way in the industry, and that's what we're doing. So it's not just the right thing to do, that's an important motivator personally, but it's also future-proofing our business, because I do think that at one point consumers will take note whether you're a socially responsible company. We can already see, of course, NGOs are pushing this agenda, but I can also see that the financial community is now starting to raise the bar and require companies that they invest in to have a proper attempt to do some work in the sustainability area.
No holds barred.
Out front tonight, hypocrite in chief. So let me just put it to you straight, Senator. Senate Democrats, they are getting their butts kicked.
No nonsense.
Are you simply shooting the messenger because you don't let the message?
Facts first.
How stupid do you think we are? Allies in Washington are covering for him, and they shouldn't get away with it.
Because getting to the truth matters.
The Washington Post went and confirmed the date of that hearing. So you're telling me unless I go back in the time capsule, you're not going to believe it.
Aaron Burnett out front. Tuesday to Saturday on CNN.
아우 죽었다. 아. 아이고야.
This is the screen where it happens. The moments that change the world. These are the faces we see. The voices we empower. This is the work that continues. Who we are today and what we can become. This is journalism that reflects the world we live in.
I'm Selma Solis at the Poland-Ukraine border, and this is CNN.
On this vote, the yeas are 53, the nays are 47, and this nomination is confirmed. At the round of applause there, the U.S. Supreme Court will have its first black woman justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Now, she watched the vote with President Joe Biden Thursday. Confirmation follows a contentious hearing in the Senate. Despite that, Vice President Kamala Harris, who you just saw there, calls it a victory for the entire country.
I think it makes a very important statement about who we aspire to be, who we are, who we believe ourselves to be. It's a statement about that on our highest court in the land, we want to make sure that there's going to be full representation and the finest and brightest and the best. And that's what happened today. I'm very proud.
Jackson will be sworn in after Justice Stephen Breyer retires, and that will be sometime this summer. Now, an outbreak of COVID among Washington's power players is triggering alarm because of their proximity to President Joe Biden. Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has in fact tested positive for COVID. That happened on Thursday, a day after standing right next to the president at a bill signing. You see her there. And the Justice Department confirmed Attorney General Merrick Garland tested positive for COVID as well. He is not said to be experiencing any symptoms and is fully vaccinated. And Republican Susan Collins of Maine also has COVID-19. She and Garland were among 37 people who tested positive after attending a dinner of Washington elites over the weekend. Now, we have to stress here, so far, Mr. Biden has not tested positive for COVID. Now, Shanghai has yet to get a handle on the COVID outbreak there. Now, in the last few hours, government officials announced more than 21,000 new cases in the city. That's nearly all the cases in the entire country. The outbreak has reached nearby cities, and they too are now being put under lockdown. Christy Lou Stout is live for us in Hong Kong, and you've been following all of us, including these late-breaking details. I mean, all of these details, to be frank, are kind of shocking, with China's punishing zero COVID lockdowns, still in force. It really seems like people in Shanghai are really being driven to the brink here.
Yes, Shanghai is buckling under the citywide lockdown with no end in sight, and some residents have hit breaking point, and they are speaking out. Now, earlier today, Shanghai reported over 21,000 new cases of COVID-19, and as the cases continue to rise, China continues to cling onto this tough zero COVID policy that is punishing to both lives and livelihoods in Shanghai. Now, this next video clip that we're going to air has gone viral this week in China, and I want you to watch and listen to this man vent his frustration about life under lockdown in Shanghai. Listen.
힘들어.
He has reached his limit. Now, CNN cannot confirm the authenticity of that video. That video has gone viral. There's also rising anger over the continued food shortages in Shanghai. In this next clip, you will see this really angry confrontation, a standoff between residents in a residential compound and police. At some point in this clip, the residents say, "We are starving." We, again, cannot independently verify this video, but on Thursday, the Shanghai government did say and did pledge they're working to resolve the food distribution issues in the city. And there is also rising concern and anger over this video that has gone viral this week. It's a disturbing account. Basically, this medical worker was caught on camera beating someone's pet to death, a pet corgi. It happened after the pet's owner apparently tested positive for COVID and was taken away, quarantined, and the dog, in view of eyewitnesses and to the person who shot this video, was bashed to death. Now, CNN has made several attempts to reach out to the residential committee overseeing this compound. We're waiting to get comment and any more clarity on what happened here. But look, in all these clips, Paula, they showcase the brutality and the desperation that are caused by these extreme measures, all done in the name of zero COVID. Back to you.
Yeah, and what's so disturbing is 21,000 cases now. This is clearly going to go on for some time
Yep.
yet. Christy, really appreciate you giving us this update. Now ahead here for us on CNN Newsroom, distance and dark times couldn't stop a Ukrainian family from celebrating their daughter's birthday. Her emotional story. When we return.
When you follow a story, you may be asked to take risks.
These protests are a test for Hamas. Where Iraqi troops would pre-position and these Americans would advise them. The protesters are just outside a military base. They're throwing rocks. Any understanding between Israel and Gaza could quickly fall apart again.
You witness persistence, and that's where change happens.
The one thing they have in common is a determination to keep going.
Our mission here at CNN and journalists, the news comes first. That's when your heart beats a little bit faster. You really work as hard as you can getting the facts. It is critically important. To our viewers in the United States and around the world, welcome to the situation.
We live in such a fast-paced world where the news has been so relentless. Historic events have happened one after the other. I think that you need that daily appointment with viewers around the world to try and sort through the news of the day. What's important? Why does it matter to me? How do I put it all in context? We follow the news as it happens and where it happens. And then we also take a step back to walk the viewer through the day's news. That is the mission of Hologram tonight.
Heard it all before? But have you heard it like this?
The ultimate disruptor looks set to shake up our world. We really can't ignore the impact that this has. What can we do that explores a fresh angle? So let's untangle the players and political forces. The truth is a lot more complex. What's really going on?
Fast-paced news, in-depth reports, and fact checks from the perspective of The Global Brief with Bianca Nobilo, Tuesday through Saturday on CNN.
Now, as you might imagine, the war has affected every aspect of Ukrainian life, even something as ordinary as celebrating a birthday. Despite these dark times, one Ukrainian family did their best to give their daughter a bright and joyful celebration. CNN's Rafael Romo has their story.
The cake is ready and most of the family has arrived. And what's a birthday party without birthday hats?
Happy birthday.
Grandpa and Grandma get their hats too, and it's time to light the candles. But there's something missing, or rather, someone, the birthday girl herself. Is that why her father seems pensive, sad perhaps? Darina Pelensky, a girl from the city of Lviv in western Ukraine, turns 10 today. But she is far, far away, 1,500 kilometers away. Technology allows for long-distance birthday wishes. We congratulate you on your birthday, Darina's grandmother tells her on the phone. We wish you happiness and health, and although we're not together, our hearts are with you. The story about how this family is celebrating a long-distance birthday is the story of thousands upon thousands of Ukrainian families whose lives have been upended by the Russian invasion.
How would you describe the experience of having witnessed the bombing?
It was scary.
Yuri Pelensky is Darina's father.
You told me that you could actually hear the bomb coming here.
Yeah.
He says he wanted to keep his family together in their home, but when bombs flew right above his apartment building and exploded at a military base a few kilometers away, he knew it was time to say goodbye.
It's war. It's like a horror film. It's like a bad dream, and you wake up in the morning and understand that it is not bad dream.
The following day, he drove his daughter, wife Marta, and mother Lesia to Krakow, Poland. There, they took a flight to Milan, Italy, where they're currently staying with family, far away from any airstrikes.
How do you explain to a 10-year-old girl that the only country she's ever known is at war and that bombs are falling?
We explain that it's Russia come to our country, and bad things are happening now. People die, and it's very dangerous.
When the family finishes singing Happy Birthday, there's not a dry eye in the room. Everybody gives the birthday girl a virtual kiss. And moments later, they all have to run to the underground shelter after the air raid siren goes off once again.
What is your hope for the future?
My hope for the future that everything will be okay. I know that everything will be okay. We win the war.
And when Ukraine wins the war, Pelensky says, he will be able to be reunited with his family. Darina's 8th and 9th birthday parties were canceled because of COVID-19. Her father hopes the whole family will be able to celebrate her 11th birthday next year together in a country at peace where children are no longer afraid of falling bombs. Rafael Romo, CNN, Lviv, Ukraine.
And millions looking for similar reunions. Now, if you would like to help people in Ukraine, please go to cnn.com/impact. You'll find several ways to help. So many of you already have. Already, viewers have contributed more than $7 million for humanitarian relief efforts in Ukraine. And finally, for us, we are just hours away from the launch of Axiom 1, which will carry 4 civilians now to the International Space Station. It's the inaugural mission for the commercial space flight company known as Axiom Space, and the first time an all-private crew will go to the ISS. Now, they're expected to dock with the orbiter on Saturday and spend 8 days working on experiments alongside American and European astronauts and, of course, Russian cosmonauts. Despite tensions between Russia and the West, hope remains the ISS can remain a symbol of cooperation.
Honestly, I think that's one of the reasons we've been able to have an International Space Station. Some people that don't care so much about space care about international relations, and having a space station where we can cooperate, I think, is really important for a peaceful future.
And I want to thank you for watching. Stand by. Right after the break, we will have.
I will.
I want this show, One World, to be a place where people watching from all corners of the globe can understand why what happens in Africa has a huge impact on all of our lives in ways we might